Dazzler. History of a shining superstar. Born a mutant, Alison Blaire perceives all sound as a thing of substance and texture, which can be converted into waves of energy that surge through her flesh to gather in her cells until she transforms it and releases it as dazzling light. A talented singer, Alison has always dreamt of becoming a music icon as the shining superstar known as Dazzler. But in the music industry, is her power a gift or a curse? Let's chart the hits and misses of those early years and way beyond. Alison Blaire is unique amongst Marvel superheroes in that she was originally an external commission, a character created to promote Casablanca Records. She really does have her roots in the music business, although this rather business-like beginning belies the fun of the character and how she became fully integrated into the Marvel Universe. The collaboration with Casablanca faltered, but Marvel had spent a year seeding their titles with guest appearances by Dazzler and decided to launch her anyway. Ali made her first appearance in an X-Men story arc that heralded another of Mutant Kind's most enduring characters, Kitty Pryde. New potential heroes were still something of a novelty back then, and the X-Men invited both Alison and Kitty to be students at Xavier's School for Gifted Youngsters. Kitty accepted and quickly became part of that strand of the Marvel mythology. But Alison decided to pursue her dream, a singing career. From the outset, this was a crucial part of Alison's character, a burning ambition that would dominate her early years and come to haunt her as she moved into more mainstream superheroics. Guest appearances in other Marvel titles such as Amazing Spider-Man and Fantastic Four meant that Ali was on good speaking terms with New York's finest by the time of Dazzler 1. Indeed, Spidey made an appearance in the first few pages. "Hang in there, sweetheart," he advised as Alison complained that her singing career was in the toilet. "You have talent. All you need is time." Sadly, most of her upcoming gigs were to be interrupted by super brawls, a situation that has repeated itself throughout her career. Alison is the daughter of Carter Blaine and his wife Catherine, a former jazz singer for whom Alison inherited her beautiful singing voice. As a child, Alison shared her mother's love for music, although her father, the uptight, up-and-coming lawyer, disapproved of his wife's profession, thinking it unsavoury and vulgar. One has to wonder what captivated Alison's parents about each other in the first place, but they do say opposites attract. As Carter became more successful, he wanted Catherine to give up her vocation, but she refused. They fought, and eventually she left and took up with charming reprobate Nick Brown, with whom she eventually had Alison's half-sister Lois. Alison, meanwhile, was more or less brought up by her beloved grandmother Bella. Carter was determined that his daughter wouldn't follow the same track as her mother, and set about totally ignoring his daughter's talents by browbeating her to enroll in a law program. She completed it, but when at the end she told her father that she must be true to herself, he practically disowned her. Nonetheless, Alison was now free to hone her powers and develop a stage act. She designed her own distinctive look, including the magnetic skates that were so often a part of her early getaways. Small gigs in nightclubs were the order of the day, but it was while performing one of these that Cerebro, the X-Men's supercomputer, registered her. After helping the X-Men against the White Queen's Hellfire Club, she gained friends for life. Next came an encounter that was to signify that Dazzler's involvement with superpowered types was ongoing. Indeed, it was soon to include the more godlike end of that spectrum. Alison's path crossed that of the Norse goddess Amora the Enchantress, whose jealousy of the Dazzler's vocal prowess caused her to get all ageist on the singer. The trick backfired, as many of Ali's superpowered friends came to her aid. But it was clear this was one chanteuse whose adventures would continue. Ali became briefly romantically linked with Johnny Storm, the Human Torch. Appropriately enough, her next brush with danger was with Latverian tyrant Doctor Doom. Next into the fray was the Incredible Hulk, whom Alison defeated using a unique method. She talked him down and told him how gentle he was underneath. Some government agents twigged that there was more to Alison than meets the eye. By threatening to reveal to the general public that she was a mutant, they blackmailed her into taking part in a series of tests at the Project Pegasus facility. Here she was befriended by Wendell Vaughn, aka Kazar, and it was during this incident that she got the first inkling of how truly powerful she was. The supervillain Claw, whose body was made from solidified sound waves, duped Alison into helping him escape from the facility, but before he could, Alison absorbed all the raw power he could generate until there was nothing left of him. It was this that brought her to the attention of Galactus. As her body was virtually exploding with energy, Galactus needed Dazzler to shed light on that most mysterious of space phenomena, a black hole, in order to free his herald, the macho Terrax. Our studies, Galactus' robot drone told Alison, have shown you to possess the heart of a true warrior. Once imbued with cosmic energy and shining like a wondrous stellar disco bunny, Dazzler became one of the few mortal beings to enter a black hole, and not only survive, but return Terrax to his master and admonish the godlike Galactus for his sins. She lived to tell the tale, and she was returned to Earth. Back home, Alison found she was up for murder as Project Pegasus framed her for Claw's death. Kazar was a witness whose testimony proved her innocence. She also met a new bloke, lawyer Ken Garnett. It would be remiss not to note that in her early adventures, Alison had several sort of boyfriends, including a boring doctor called Paul. All the while, there were various other interested parties, including both Kazar and Terrax. So why was she saddled with these tedious excuses for companions? It's never been satisfactorily explained. Later, even the Beyonder had a go at securing her romantic interest. No, the Dazzler's love life was waiting for that special someone, and that someone turned out to be the one and only Longshot. More on him later. Dazzler's extraordinary lists of co-stars continued to grow. The vengeful Enchantress returned. Dazzler's career picked up as she opened for a rock legend, and she continued to hang out with the Fantastic Four, as well as notable X-Men, various Marvel Knights, and even the Avengers when the stupendous Absorbing Man decided to use Dazzler as a hostage in a battle against them. Crusher Creel was defeated, with the help of the Inhumans' King Blackbolt. She really was mixing with all the greats. Alison Blaire's life was the envy of any modern celebrity, and yet, while pasting supervillains and singing, there was still an emotional rift with her dad, now Judge Blaire. This was miraculously fixed shortly before Dazzler was tearfully reunited with her long-lost mother, and her debut album was launched. Beautiful synchronicity. As Alison's rep spread, everyone wanted to fight her, including the mutant terrorists Mystique and Rogue. Rogue was a kind of counter-Dazzler, a jealous enemy who wanted everything Alison had. Simultaneously, Alison's singing success continued unabated, and Los Angeles, the centre of the entertainment business, called. There wasn't really a film called Dazzler the Movie, just a fairly decent graphic novel. But wouldn't it be cool if there was? It would feature all the worst fashion excesses and fads of the 80s, like aerobics, leggings, and groovy disco dance floor meltdowns. Sadly, this new direction didn't yield a run of Hollywood-based storylines, but you can just picture how they would have gone. Each episode sees Dazzler sort of out a real-life problem with a bit of dancing, Californian-style analysis, and a light show. Now, in the real world, in spite of the long line of guest stars, the Dazzler comic book had failed to create its own engaging cast, and indeed, any long-term character coherency in Alison herself. Suddenly, she was an aspiring actress in LA, and although the hokey aspects of many of the plot lines look charming today, they lacked the hardcore soap elements of various contemporary X-books that kept their readers hooked. Dazzler was cancelled, and Alison Blaire vanished into the netherworld of characters who are between books. But like a good soap actress, she was just resting. During those late 80s adventures, Alison was already becoming integrated into the more mainstream world of everyday superheroes. When she gambled that declaring herself a mutant might help calm anti-mutant sentiment, the plan backfired and destroyed her career. After some time spent wandering and fending off various other threats, Dazzler ended up as a member of the X-Men. After so many years of avoiding joining the team, the protection of the team appealed. She would be among friends, apart from Rogue, although they did sort out their differences, despite being after the same bloke. Alison functioned very ably within the X-Men, her sound-based light and fury bringing an element of glamour to the team. Via her involvement with the X-Men, she also met Longshot, the probability-defying hero from the alternate dimension of the Mojoverse, and Alison's husband-to-be. Things got weird here, with lots of hopping between that realm and the regular Marvel universe, with Longshot losing his memory on more than one occasion. His ailing memory caused their more recent and perhaps final split. But before that occurred, Alison found herself fighting alongside Longshot in his universe's rebellion against Mojo, the grotesque slaver creature who ruled that existence, and taking care of the X-Babies, junior facsimiles of the X-Men created by Mojo. Apparently married during their time together in the Mojoverse, Alison and Longshot were expecting a child, but Alison lost the baby under unrevealed circumstances. She returned to Earth and helped the X-Men fight Magneto in the mutant state of Genosha, before following her muse once more and managing to re-establish her music career. This thanks to the worldwide cultural nostalgia for all things kitsch and 80s. It was during her revival tour in the UK that Dazzler joined forces with the new Excalibur. Adopting a new punk look, complete with a short pink hairstyle, Alison seemed at home among the British super team, and helped defeat evil versions of both the X-Men and Captain Britain. Briefly reunited with Longshot, Alison also discovered she couldn't die. Whether this is a new power or the machinations of the celestial garden Roma, whom Ali helped defend, is yet to be explored. Currently, she is living in San Francisco and back with the X-Men, the team with whom ultimately she seems to be the most comfortable. These days she fights more than she sings, but as long as she still chases the musical dream, she continues to burn brightly. As Spider-Man once put it to her, "You have talent. All you need is time."